inside, body rip, uppercut up top. Watch this though. He peels the guard down. Let me show you how. Let me show. What's up, guys? Give me 1 second. How's everyone doing today? Monday morning, new week for me. New day. I'm just sharing the link in our I'm gonna put the link in our Discord if anybody wants to pop on. Hopefully you're doing well. Sunday night in America. There's football on, there's a lot of stuff on. I just had I've been up for a little bit. I had a client. I have a Monday morning client every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 5:45. So my coaching, my passion, I always tell people I'm a coach and teacher first. I use my coaching to not only help clients, but help myself. So I train with my online clients. So today, every morning we do a 30-minute calisthenic workout. He's an older bloke, but he's a beast. We do sets of, he's up to doing sets of 60 push-ups. We just do 300 of them. We do some wall sits, some planks, but I generally do sets of 100 push-ups in each set. Got to build those up, boy. Got to get your money. Them old heads, man. If you're an unk like me, you got to be doing something every day to stay fit. Every single day. There ain't no days off. Us old heads have to stay fit. All right, I'm almost there, boys. Link to tap in. All right, guys, if you're in the Discord, I just put the link up there. If you're not in the Discord, click the link that's pinned in the comment section below right here. And we're going to get started. I'm going to go live twice today. We got a lot to talk about on this live stream. We got the week that was. We got a week ahead. November is upon us. Hopefully you guys did good. Hopefully you won some money. We'll go over all that. I want to start. I'm going to start with this real quick. You guys can see what I'm talking about. In the sort of glow of Vergil Ortiz's amazing stoppage over Erickson Lubin, a lot of times when these fighters are in their prime and their trajectory is like here, sometimes what gets lost is the performance, because fight fans, analysts, pundits, they're always looking ahead. I want to focus on something real quick. I want to talk about that performance, even though it was short, very short. Vergil made easy work of Lubin. And say what you will about Eric, his performance. People are going to say, what the hell was he doing? He fought on the ropes. What the hell is really cracking? Okay. Here we go. Let me show you how high level and how tactical this knockout actually was. We know what Vergil did against Lubin in the second round. Totally demolished him. Watch the body work. Watch what he does. Watch his punch placement. All of this was tactical. He leans in with his shoulder initially. He works the body, and then he goes up top. This is classic Mike Tyson stuff. Get inside, body rip, uppercut up top. Here. Watch this, though. He peels the guard down, and this was the one that did it. Boom, hook on the temple. Look at the precision. Look at I peel the guard down. Bink. This is where Lubin loses consciousness real quick. Right there, he's out. He's already done. Great stoppage by the referee. Vergil Ortiz, great punch placement, great accuracy. Look at the ferocity in those eyes. And so we can start there. And what I was gonna finish on that point, if the ref doesn't stop that, we would be talking about Lubin in a totally different way. Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he's okay, but good job on the ref. Good job on the ref being there in eyesight, being able to see the eyes of Lubin. Because in real time, I heard some people talking about why'd they stop, but he's not out. I was like, I don't know, man. It was easy to see right off jump that one punch over the temple, the lights went out. Especially how Vergil, I love what Vergil was doing. And you know what? People are going to be like, Lubin's fight IQ. He's washed. Why was he fighting on the ropes? That has nothing to do with Vergil. All Vergil could do in that moment is be tactical and, so as a coach, you would call that situational boxing. Now, did Vergil's whole camp practice on, having Lubin on the ropes the entire time? Probably not. You drill situations when they're doing their skill stuff. You'll drill situational, possibilities in a fight. So you'll work out of a corner, you work in the middle, you work yourself off the ropes, and maybe they had some sequences when Vergil would trap Lubin on the ropes, what to do. But all that other stuff within that process is fight IQ. That's Vergil knowing that, all right, he's going to sit on the ropes. I'm going to lean in with my lead shoulder. I love the body, the uppercut here, uppercut up top, and then the peeling of the guard. All of that, mate, you have to drill, drill, drill. You also have to be cognizant enough to be able to be calm enough to see those openings, and then actually execute high level shit, dude. Mate, that was spectacular. I was, and anybody who loves, like I always talk about, the little techniques of the sport, the minutia of the sweet science, anybody who loves all that, even if you don't like Vergil, when you're watching that, you're like, Jesus Christ. That yeah, that was fun to watch. He made quick work of Lubin. And where does Eric go from here? We'll see. He built himself up before. He'll have to do it again. I'm going to do my check-ins now. 6 minutes in, 20 of the boys are in here. Make sure you're liking this when you pop in. Let me know how you did. Kyle in the house, History Vault in the house. Mike Ross, I just finished my workout. Feel like I'm strained. Feel like I strained my UCL on my arm. So you have to do a lot of shoulder work, bro. I do shoulder work every single day with resistance bands. So when you think about our shoulders, the mechanism of the shoulder, the machine is so tiny. You have no idea how many guys I've coached and how many guys I've met over time who blow their shoulders out on a stupid gym machine because they're trying to pin load and do a lot of weight. The last muscle group you ever want to do a 1 rep max on is your shoulders. You should never be lifting heavy overhead military presses. I would, if I were you guys, I don't use any machines though. Like the idea of sitting on a machine and doing any sort of work is super asinine to me. All of my work is done with a barbell. I use a barbell or dumbbells for everything. Machines, it puts you in a fixed position and you lose the ability to activate a full body activation before a lift. So I would do a lot of band work if I were you, prehabbing those shoulders. Before you even lift anything, you should be doing band work. Overhead, pull aparts. Thousands. I do thousands a week. What's up, Will? FX coaching. Do you need to tape Shakur and Tio fight? I tape every fight. I mean, those guys are a joy to watch. I love watching Shakur fight. I love watching Tio fight. So I'll watch Shakur. This is what I do for entertainment, though. I've never played video games. I've never once. I'm not into any, my hobbies are working out, boxing. So like when people say, "Am I gonna tell?" Oh yeah, dude, that's a fun ass fight. I can't wait to tape it. Lubin showed his punch resistance. It is gone. Okay, so Tarver point out the guard. Okay, they got to watch for that. Perfect. Tarver is legit. Tons of people saying either Lubin is washed or nah. See, no, he might be washed, but you got to give love to Vergil. You know what I'm saying? People who are saying that, it's like, what the hell? You got to give. I'm always gonna side with that. Did that look like a rigged fight? That looked like. Look at the eyes of Vergil Ortiz. Hold up. Give me 1 second here. Ref doesn't. Let me show you how high level and how tactical this knockout actually was. We know what Vergil did against Lubin in the second round. Totally demolished him. Watch the body work. Watch what he does. Watch his punch placement. All of this was tactical. He leans in with his shoulder initially. He works the body, and then he goes up top. This is classic Mike Tyson stuff. Get inside, body rip, uppercut up top. Watch this, though. He peels the guard down, and this was the one that did it. Boom, hook on the temple. Look at the precision. Look at I peel the guard down. Bink. This is where Lubin loses consciousness real quick. Right there, he's out. He's already done. Great stoppage by the referee. Vergil Ortiz, great punch placement, great. Does that look staged to you? That does not look staged to me. That does not look rigged. That looks like a man who lost consciousness. Eric Lubin is a very proud man. He's a very, very proud man. There's no amount of money that you could give that guy to get knocked out unconscious in front of the world. I don't care. I don't care what people say. Everybody has their price. Okay, maybe to take a dive, maybe to take a fall, but not to go unconscious. He went unconscious, and then look at Vergil's eyes. My man is full hunt mode. Accuracy. What are you talking about? I mean, anybody who says that this was staged is out of their mind. They've never been in a real fight. There's nothing staged about that sequence. Look at that. If that ref didn't do his job, Vergil could have really hurt Eric. Really hurt him. Look at the ferocity in those eyes. If the ref doesn't... Yeah, so that's where I stand on that. Anybody who thinks that was staged, maybe they lost money. You know, maybe they lost a prop bet. I don't know. Okay, you know, it's a skill. You know, guard down 20 times last weekend. Yeah, it's a tactic within a fight, but you don't really see it executed to plan like that, especially with all that was at stake. No matter, you know, we know Eric went down and he lost, but Vergil could have lost. With everything at stake, we knew going into this fight, the loser was going to have to rebuild themselves. You know, Eric, where does Eric go from here? You know, I'll be cheering for him, but it's not like we haven't seen that before. But to see it done tactically, when it was supposed to happen, efficiently, the punch placement, the ferocity, everything, how Eric got hit with the punch, how he goes unconscious on the ropes. It's a lot of people might try to do that, but to see that executed that way, it was a sight to see. Very good stoppage, ref James Green. Yeah, shout out to the ref, man. We talk shit a lot about refs, man. Shout out to the ref for sure. What's up, Mankey? Mankey in the house tapping in. Boxing bruised shoulders are poorly designed. 100%. They're poorly designed because the way we evolved, we weren't bipedalists. You know what also is poorly designed is our spinal column. So we were, you know, watching, you know, the science of human evolution going from walking on all fours to being bipedalists, going, you know, from all fours to broad-shouldered, tailless hominoids. It's why a lot of people have bad spines and bad, you know, posture. You have to work that shit. You have to train that shit. It takes a lot of effort and energy to be able to be healthy, strong, and be able to be athletically functional the older we get. This is why I coach it. This is why I live it. This is what I do. V in the house. What's good, V? No problem, Mike. That's what I do, man. We do, you know, we have a level 3 membership that's offered. Click on, have a look at it. The level 3 is a fitness membership for myself. You get access to my online coaching. Yeah, money was made last night. I'm interested which way where you guys hit on. I did all my money on Tiger Johnson knocking out Nick Flaz. So my money came in on boy. Exactly how we called it. Exactly how we called it. I told you guys it was going to be the backhand. I told you guys all week. We had a debate on the channel. Shout out to my boy Chilltown. He was on the channel. Look, I'm not always going to get it right, but when I get it right, you're going to know that I got it right. And when I get it wrong, you guys definitely let me know that I got it wrong. I did not get it wrong on this one. I debated Chilltown. It's on the channel. He gave you all the reasons why he said Nick Flaz was going to win. I gave you all the reasons why Tiger was going to win, and I just happened to come out on top. It's just what I saw on the tape. I didn't expect to get it perfectly like that. But yeah, I hit on my UFC dog of the week. I hit on my boxing dog of the week 3 or 4 weeks in a row. I took Tiger at 10-1 by knockout.
Gave Terrence Crawford all he could ask for.
This is a cool moment with this Errol Spence Jr. and Vergil.
His last time out. There you see Errol Spence Jr. in the house. We're here to watch Vergil Ortiz. I saw Jermell Charlo sitting ringside as well. The stars are out. Teofimo, Arnold Barboza. Everyone is here to see Vergil Ortiz tonight.
Alicia Baumgartner as well, who joined us.
Watch and enjoy.
Oh, boy.
Oh my.
Got shit on. So, yeah, I'm a huge I grew up playing ball. I still play basketball. I don't talk about basketball a lot, but I'm a diehard Cavs fan. Anytime an Aussie, that Giddy dude from Australia, and he's DeAndre Hunter, where I come from, we call that you just got shit on. That dude, the boys, his own teammates will be roasting him for a while on that. But back to boxing. He can't walk out to Can't Touch Us anymore. Yeah, so I want to know where you guys won your money on. It was I got to be honest with you, I agree. What else was on that card? Yeah, that Robin fight was kind of weird. Joshua Edwards fight was weird.
Y'all is the ones talking. Oh, we started talking. Your manager, wherever he is, your manager, you're talking all crazy. Oscar talking crazy. It's the time, and I'll make you pay for everything they saying. Straight like, yeah, ain't nobody's gonna pay with you. I'll make you pay. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. And we can bet whatever. I guarantee you. I don't want to take the money, bro. You ain't gonna take nothing. You ain't gonna take nothing. I guarantee you. We can bet any amount of money when we fight. I guarantee you. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna make every promise and I'm gonna keep it. Straight like that. You're a great fighter. You look tremendous. But I'm gonna show the world I'm the best in the world. I got something for you. You got a yes for me? I got a yes. Right now. Hey, Eddie, where the papers at? Where the papers at, Eddie? Come on.
All right, two of the biggest stars in U.S. boxing, two of the best at 154 pounds, ready to go next year.
How do you guys see that one going? I got to be honest. Does it make sense right now? Does it make sense, Vergil versus Boots right now? Neither one of them have a belt. You know what I mean? So I don't see that. I don't see that happening right now. I don't see that happening next. Vergil still doesn't have a belt. Boots doesn't have a. Boots has what, the IBO belt? That's not a full belt. So I see what they're trying to do. You know, there's a lot of hype. We want to see that fight, obviously, but we got to understand and we have to remember Xander, Murtazaev, Barral, and Fondora. Those are the guys with belts. Neither guys have a belt, but they're going. You would think they're going to have a belt. You don't think so? I disagree. I'd like you to Havelock. I'd like you to come on and debate me on this. I definitely think they need I definitely think they're not going to make that fight until one of those guys has a belt. It doesn't make sense money-wise, especially when you want, that what they mean for the division. Why not make it when each guy is a champ and then that's a unification belt? And then they can you can't really say the winner of this is the king of the division if neither one of the fools have a belt when they fight. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see that happening right now. I got to be honest with you. Xander, Bakram, Barral, Fondora, those are the belt holders. I don't want to see. I don't think that's going to happen right now. I guarantee Vergil goes a different route. I guarantee Boots goes a different route. Who has the IBF? Murtazaev. We'll see. Yeah, it's a great fight. I mean, I'd watch that right now, obviously. But I'm talking about the business side of things. They're not gonna leave that much money on the table making those two guys fight with neither one of them are champions. The IBO only counts the world title. I don't count it. If that's the case, we could say Paul Spadafora was a world champion. I think didn't Ike Ibeabuchi have an IBO belt? Didn't David Tua have it? Yeah, but we don't. That IBO belt doesn't count. Thank you, mate. Yeah, that was. I got hype on that one. Because I was a little bit emotionally invested. Emotionally invested because Tiger's from Ohio, because he's from Northeast Ohio, and because I didn't set up that debate, by the way. I just want to let you know, when TJ came on, he asked me to come on. He asked me to come on in the moment. So in a way, that's kind of like, you know, we're at the gym and somebody has a mouthpiece. We're already at the gym, right? And when somebody brings them out, this happened to me before in my old gym, and it wasn't a fight gym; it was a strength gym. But I hung a heavy bag in there, so I would box with clients and I would spar. But I was the only boxing coach, and one of the PTs once came into the boxing area with a mouthpiece. Wasn't even cool with me. It was like, "Yo, do you want to spar?" I'm like, "All right, then. That's a different energy. You come into my space with a mouthpiece. We didn't talk about it, and you're asking me to spar. We're about to go to work." I tatted that boy up. Uh, and that's how I felt with the Tiger Johnson call out when we were debating it 1-on-1. I was like, psh. So when Tiger knocked him out and it went how I said it was gonna go, I got a little hype. You guys were sleeping on Tiger, man. Shout out to Flaz. Flaz was exactly who I thought Flaz was gonna be, though. Very basic. You could see how basic he was in his entries and exits. You could see how basic he was fighting emotionally. He was confused. Tiger's speed and length was giving him issues. And when you fight, when you're the more technical guy, especially if you have length and timing and speed, and you're fighting a guy and you get inside their head and you get them emotionally fighting, trying to get it back, sort of thing, you're gonna catch him. You're gonna catch him. You're gonna catch him. Yeah, I'm not that sold on Murtazilov. I told you that. I'm not convinced. I mean, he's a champion and he looked good against Tim, but I'm not convinced that he's the boogeyman. People are talking like Murtazilov's the boogeyman. I'm like, you guys are high, dude. I would take Vergil over Murtazilov. I would take Boots over Murtazilov. I would take Xander Zayas over Murtazilov. And if Josh Kelly goes official against Murtazilov, I'm taking Josh Kelly to beat him. That's all. I've been saying that. Remember that one too. Clip this shit. When that goes, you guys will get my Stats Don't Lie video. You'll get my prediction. If that goes official, which I think we'll see. I like Josh Kelly to beat Murtazilov. They can make Boots or Ortiz for the WBA regular champion. Yeah, but dude, these regular belts are wild. Tank Davis was the WBA regular god forever, fighting for regular belts. I'm cool on it. When his Tiger boys are openly saying let's bet Carrington, that was a lock. When his Tiger boys are openly saying let's bet. Shoo. Yeah, that's his man's though. You said everyone was sleeping on Lubin, but Chula, he was sleeping. Yeah, he went sleeping. I mean, I didn't bet on Eric. I bet on obviously I bet on Verge. I think the bet that obviously we'll get to let's talk my losses real quick. Friday night in Australia was a rough night for me, man. I definitely the Jazzy part versus May Sullivan, that's its own sort of conversation. If you watch it, you know what I'm talking about. Jazzy was pretty much winning every exchange until she wasn't, and then May was slower, but in my breakdown, I said if May was going to win, it was going to be on her grown woman strength. It was going to be on her power, and she showed that. She showed the psychology, she showed the mental edge, she showed the power edge, and when Jazzy got dropped the first time, you could tell in that moment Jasmine Parr had never had to answer to anything in training, never had to answer to anything in sparring. I wonder how many girls in sparring that she spars with actually hits harder than her, because when she got dropped, you could see it in her face. She was shocked. The announcers were shocked. It was, and then when she got stopped, I called May. I told May this after the fight, even though I picked Jazzy to win. That way that Jazz quit by exiting the ropes, that's going to be hard to overcome psychologically. Moving forward for Jasmine, now granted she's young, she'll be able to overcome it, but like that optic, how she did it, she literally was like, I don't want to fight anymore. She quit. That is insane. So that fight in itself, and then the Munir Fati was just a bad read on my end. Andrew Hunt, you should have saw, and I posted these messages. You should have saw them. I got 3 or 4 messages on Instagram. Damn, bro, I wish you would have asked me about Andrew Hunt. He, even though he hasn't boxed, he took 3 or 4 or 5 years off. Everybody knew about him when he was a teenager. I'm like, get the fuck, y'all guys are high. Shut up. I was like, that's just a bad read. Munir, you definitely can see the levels, but Munir Fati got starched. That was a bad read. But guys, I always tell you guys, Australia boxing, I never go heavy. I only sprinkled a little bit. I made all my money on Tiger. So Tiger to win, Tiger by knockout at 10-1. It's exactly what I said. And then the other sneaky prop of the week was Vergil by knockout at $1.70. Didn't pay like the 10-1, but 100 on Vergil win by knockout. I felt like that was a steal. That was the one that I felt pretty much if you thought Vergil was going to win, you never once heard me say by decision. I was like, Virgil's going to win by stoppage. But and I'm not one to get fancy. I didn't tell you guys. I'm not an over and under guy. I'm not a round better. I like the outcome. I like, who's going to win. And then the outcome. Even betting the outcome is tricky. But when I talked about Virgil at $1.70 in one of my first live streams to win by knockout, I said it's similar to when we got Josh Kelly against Fabio Bea at $1.90. I was like, that's good value. 100 gets you 90 back. Virgil, you would have got 70 back. And then I also, with those method of victory props, I never put them on parlays. So like Tiger 10 to win by knockout, I'm not going to put that on a parlay. That's a standalone bet. And I didn't do a long parlay this week. I didn't like it. I didn't like the Golden Boy card, guys. I told you that all week. Just because I break fights down doesn't mean I'm going to bet on them. You guys could still ask me who do I think is going to win, and I'll tell you. But I got a lot of messages this week. And hey, Johnny, what's your parlay? I was like, I'm not doing a long parlay this weekend. The odds on the Golden Boy card were so bizarre. And then the David Stevens versus DFG fight, I didn't bet it, but I told you, I was like, Stevens can beat Darius Fulgham. Anybody out there who is telling you that Fulgham is good, I mean, I think Fulgham's one of those guys that because he looks the part, he's bodied up, he's marketable, he could talk, he looks like, you know what I'm saying? Like when the guys, being a professional athlete means you have good genetics in anything. If you're a pro athlete, you have good genetics. Having good genetics, you're probably going to be a good looking person. So when you add that into boxing, the optic, that's what I mean. The marketability, that's what I mean. He's always in shape. He has a nickname. He has a following. A lot of times people take all that and wrap that up and they act like that's enough to become a world level fighter. Not in boxing. You will get found out. I love what Teddy Atlas says about that. He said the boxing ring is life's greatest lie detector. You can be whoever you want outside of the ring. The minute you step inside of the ring, all truths will be told and all lies will be found out. I never, Darius is like a domestic guy. I never thought Darius was going to be a world champion. David Stevens, on the other hand, I said all week, 5-1 is super disrespectful. I was like, 5-1. Now, I didn't take him to win. I had a sneaky prop that didn't come true, and that fight was terrible. It ended in a draw, if you guys didn't know. So, shout out to Kiza. Kiza hit the draw. I think what'd you get at 14-1? And that all in all, that kind of encapsulates why I didn't put a parlay on because I didn't like the odds on the Golden Boy card, guys. Cowboy fight was boom. Learning that money line is the safest. Yeah, like when I put together long parlays, that shit's fun. $25 to win a couple hundred, $50 to win, a couple hundred. But I don't go into long and then when I hit like the 12, 13 leggers, it looks good. It's fun. You know what I mean? It's fun to see all those green ticks come in. But if I'm going like anything over 100, anything over $200 on a bet, I'm not pairing that with shit. That's it. Because then psychologically, mentally, stress-wise, depending your bankroll, if you have a bankroll that you could be betting 100 or 500, 1,000, you don't want other external sort of outcomes to have to add to the stress. You're already going to be stressed about that one outcome. Why? Could you imagine if I put Tiger at 10-1 by knockout on a parlay with DFG to win? And then my betting app down here in Australia, the draw pushes, and then I don't get anything back on the 10-1. Obviously, I had to learn through mistakes. You learn these things. And this is another thing about the Discord, guys, that doesn't get spoken about enough. On my end, you'll hear me bring this up, but one of the biggest values of joining the Discord, other than the community, other than the betting side of like being able to see other people's perspectives, it's also learning the strategy of betting. There's strategies, and I'm still learning. I'm pretty new. I'm like a baby when it comes to the strategy of betting. Like the ins and outs of like odd swings. If you guys were in the Discord, you would have seen 2 hours before the Tiger Johnson fight. I was keeping it. The Discord was keeping everybody up to date on the odds. The odds were shifting crazy. 2 hours before the fight, Nick Flaz goes from a $1.55 favorite to a $2.20 underdog, meaning that there was a lot of money coming in on Tiger, and then an hour away, it flipped again. So I was paying attention to that, and then I was looking at the because I put my knockdown prop in late, and I told you guys if you were on Team Tiger, wait until we get to fight night because those odds were going to swing. And in the Discord when we were talking about that, one of the boys, I forget who it was like, yeah, this is what high sort of level gamblers will do. Guys betting hundreds of thousands, they wait for those margins to swing, and then they bet that crease. I forgot they bet that. My buddy calls it a bump. You bet the bump, or you bet the edge, and then that's where you make the money. So that's, to my point about strategy of betting, learning the strategies. It's not just pick the winner. Pick the winner is like, we could all do that. We could all just, whether you win or lose, it's understanding, the odds. It's understanding, and I try to do my best as I learn. Like, if you're on this guy, put your money in now, because the closer we get to fight night, those odds are going to crash. That sort of thing. So it was an interesting weekend. It was, for me, I was excited for the Tiger fight. I was excited for the Verge fight, but it wasn't one of those boxing weekends for me where it was like exciting fights. Probably the most exciting fight was Jasmine versus May, and I lost that fight. But that was the most exciting fight. I'm happy for May Solomon. So it was just kind of a weird one, I think, on the calendar. So I'm just going to see what the boys in the Discord are talking about. Wow. Julius Haney on the money line. Ishmael Davies on the money line. Estimate. Look at Julius. Do you guys agree with Julius Haney to beat Norman? Love Essuman on the money line. Wow. Where Team Norman at? If Haney comes to fight, tries to prove a point, it's lights out. How do you guys see that one going? I agree with. So I just woke up today, so I'm not caught up on all the boys in the Discord, but I see somebody's laughing at people losing. So I like Breaking Bad. He says let's keep it 100. There isn't much shit more lame than clowning someone for losing a ticket. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Look, so, true. You can't be, but then again, we can't be gatekeeping how people react to wins or losses too. I don't. That's why I have the chat, and that's why I have a moderator, and that's why I don't police anything people say. As long as you're not being racist. I don't like the misogynistic shit either. If I ever have to interject in something in the Discord, it's usually if somebody's being super misogynistic towards women, or like being racist, or just being a bigot, I'll interject. But when it comes down to like emotional opinions about if somebody loses a bet and you get clowned for it, I mean, I grew up in like, I'm kind of cool with that. I mean, it can't be mean spirited, but it's not my job to gatekeep how people react to people winning and losing. That's all I'm going to say. So, Boxing Booth, the Discord's quality, a lot of people active in. Yeah, man, and it's growing. Boxing Booth. I know you're new within the last month. We're only about 3 months in, so Boxing Booth. It's going to be fun to see this in a year, because in a year you're going to be one of the OGs, but right now you're one of the newer ones. What do you think about Kurt Scobie? People love Scobie. They love that bit. Scobie. There's something about Scobie I don't trust, but we'll see. I got to see the odds. I'm going to get to all the comments. Guys, wherever you're tapping in, we're 34 minutes in. Could you like this video? Make sure you subscribe. Come join the Discord, a couple bucks a month. I pinned that in the comment section below. Adu says Catterall ain't losing Echo. Yeah, I think Catterall handles Echo. I got to be honest with you. I find it odd. Yeah, there's a lot of shade on Jack. I like Jack. I like Jack's style, dude. I like how he operates methodical. I don't know. Maybe I'm, the Southpaw style. I'm interested to see what he looks like with Bozy. Got, like I said, that Philly shine. I expect him to add, add a little bit of tactics to his game. At this stage of the game for a professional who's been doing it as long as Jack, it's not anything physical anymore. All of those movement patterns are muscle memory. It's going to come down to tactics, and then learning some new tricks. It's all about adding these little tiny things to your game. Johnny, we were just kidding about. Okay. No, yeah, I didn't get to read it, Kyle. Look, it never gets mean spirited in there. You guys that's why I love the Discord. And if it does, the boys will call people out for it. I don't have to govern. You know what I mean? You got the Discord itself, the entity of the Discord governs itself. But yeah, I could tell. I mean, Nick's, never mean spirited. PJ, I think PJ is a comic. So sometimes you guys have to understand, we have a lot of different personalities in there from all over the world, by the way. All over the world. And we know culturally humor is different from culture to culture. And we're just reading text. So just don't get emotional about things. That's what I always tell people. Mike TV, Johnny, I told you having K, Chroma, and Lubin's court. You did. I wasn't. You did. You weren't on K. Lubin came out after the first round with a passive offensive attitude. He was supposed to be aggressive and set the tone. Yeah. Tactically, could you imagine coming to fight? I mean, you can't fight Vergil like that. 100%. The success that Boacek had, the success that Madrimov had, on the front foot, in the pocket, standing your ground. It was a bizarre. So somewhere along the line, Lubin thought that Lubin. There's no way Lubin thought Vergil was going to fade. I know that wasn't the game plan, but Lubin in his head, maybe he got something. Maybe he got hurt with something early that we didn't see. I don't know. I'd have to read it. If that was the actual game plan, which we saw, I agree with you, Mike. It's a horrible read on Team Lubin. Info came out that the Haney's wanted changing gloves after signing the contract. Yeah, I mean, the Haney's. I want to let me play this for you.
I do think that he has power, but he's showing it against guys we've never seen before. I don't know these guys that he fought.
You don't know them don't mean nothing, Jack.
No, I've been boxing for how long? I've been at this top level.
Just because you don't know
the
these
people don't know these
mean
people. The world don't know these
I don't
niggas.
give a damn what these folks know or don't know. I know when I carry these
Okay.
gloves.
No, I do believe that.
And
I
when
do
these
believe that
things
you got
touch you,
power.
I might touch your arm and your ankle go break.
Yeah, okay. Sound good. It sound good.
I'm finna turn your meniscus.
It sound good.
You ever had your torn meniscus, brother?
Yo, I'm talking on some shades of some Mike Tyson shit talk. That shit talk from Brian Norman Jr. It has some shades of some darkness to it. He was like, "Yo," he was like, "You ever have your meniscus torn?" Do you guys know why do you know what that means? I mean, I'm not saying you don't know what a meniscus is. It's one of the tendons within the knee. But how, you one might hear Brian say that and they might laugh because they're like, damn, he's crazy, or like, what does he mean having a torment? He's talking about he's gonna knock Devin Haney out cold, and you know those bad knockouts when you see the guy get folded over backwards, and usually they tear their knee. You ever get your meniscus torn? That's there's some darkness to that.
And it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna never happen. You ain't gonna do it.
Walk out with an ankle brace on.
You ain't gonna do it.
Bring a back
You
brace.
ain't gonna do it.
He just said, bring a back brace, bring a stretcher. Like, one of my favorite things about Brian Norman Jr. is that mentality, man, that throwback mentality. He, like I said, obviously tactically, I love his lead hook. I love his aggression. He's a dog. It's going to be a fun one. We'll see. He let Vergil take the center of the ring and didn't even fight to get it back. He looked a bit disinterested. Can't be, he looked a bit disinterested. So let's pull up these odds real quick, boys. We got Jack and Echo Esuman. So far, this is the ticket. It's if you're in America, it's your Sunday. So why is that important? Because we know as the week progresses on, we'll get more options. This is just what Sportsbet is showing us. Friday in Australia, which will be Thursday night in America, Stephen Butler faces Stefan Fangio. Sunday, and then the Sunday fights: Mike Talon, Shahid, Richard Riakpo versus Tommy Walsh, Sam Gilly versus Ishmael Davis. That, I mean, people might 340. See, as I write my notes down for dogs, that's right off jump. As I write my notes down going into the week for potential dog of the week, I put an asterisk by Sam Gilly. 100%. 100% versus Ishmael Davis. I'm not saying Gilly. I ain't gonna say Gilly's gonna win yet, but he gets an asterisk for me on a potential dog alert list. Now, obviously, I'm only gonna. Adam Azim's fighting Scobie. Okay, another one. As I make my list for potential dog alert, I put Adam Azim versus Kurt Scobie. Short notice. I think this is short notice, right? Scobie. I do this every week, guys. If you're new to the channel, I'll make a list of about 5 potential dog alert fights. You know, that's where we make our money with the dogs, and then I'll cut that to 1, and then I let you guys know at the end of the week. All right, Catterall versus Esuman with these odds. Echoes the dog. You gotta say Catterall's on dog watch. All a dog is plus odds. We got some money to be made this weekend, boys. There is some money to be made this weekend. I didn't even realize this was Ben Jr. or Eubank Jr. versus Ben week. We about to eat? Oh shit. There is a lot of money on the table this weekend. Bank Jr. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't putting my hand up to watch the rematch. People are like, the rematch. The first fight was so good. The first fight was a fight of the year content. I mean, it was exciting. It was exciting. It wasn't that tactical, you know. It wasn't that. It wasn't a fight I wanted to see again, especially with, you know, the rehydration clauses, where they are in their career, the weight class, how much damage each guy took in the first one. It really wasn't that long ago for them to be fighting again. You know, hopefully Chris could take the money and just retire. And then Connor just makes you think all that stuff he talks about wanting to be a world champion, fighting for world titles, fighting a bigger guy at 60 isn't aligned with that when you should be at 47 or 54. So I don't know, man. It's not a fight I wanted to see. I didn't want to see the rematch. It was all scripted. They didn't even let Lubin go to the canvas. It was all a dream. It was all scripted. They didn't even let Lubin go to the canvas. Howard Foster led stoppage, but apparently Lubin was on his feet. Apparently. Oh, so you had the over. All right, and I don't mean to do this, but I was at the park one day. It's when I saw her face. She looked kinda catty to me. It's when I'll take her home. Demolish him. Watch the body work. Watch what he does. Watch his punch placement. This is for N real quick. We already watched this 18 times. He leans in with his shoulder initially. He works the body, and then he goes up top. This is classic Mike Tyson stuff. Get inside, body rip, uppercut up top. Watch this, though. He peels the guard down, and this was the one that did it. Boom, hook on the temple. Look at the precision. Look at the peel the guard down. Bink. This is where Lubin loses consciousness real quick. All right, mate. All right, mate. Erickson Lubin right here is knocked out cold. So when you say it's all scripted, they didn't even let Lubin go to the canvas. You mean they didn't let Lubin die? He's out cold here, mate. Howard Foster type stoppage. So the ref, in my opinion, I if I were Lubin's parents and family, I would send the ref some love. I would buy him a box of chocolates. I would say, thank you for saving my namesake, my son, from further brain damage, because that ref did his duty and he did his job. And we don't want to see a guy like Lubin knocked out cold on the canvas. What are you talking about? He's already knocked out cold on his feet. If he dies, he dies. Right there, he's out. What are you talking about, N? What do you mean? What do you mean it's scripted? Erickson Lubin isn't going to agree to get knocked out cold in front of the world. It's scripted. Yeah. I mean, what other evidence? If you still think that's scripted, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Y'all cats is wild. Y'all motherfuckers is wild. But I got love for you. That's why I like to chat. It's not a shitty opinion. It's just, I mean, if you slow down, I just think we live in a culture where it's hard for us not to be conspiracy theorists. We get lied to by the media. We get lied to by our politicians. We get lied to by ever since we're our kids. Ever since we were children, adults lie to us, teachers lie to us, parents lie to us. Like, by the time we're adults, it's almost impossible for us not to be conspiracy theorists. So for N to think that that was scripted, I mean, I understand. And I don't think it's a shitty opinion. Look, I respect your opinion. I totally understand why you would think that. It's also boxing. We've seen, to say that we've never seen is some shit before in boxing. That would be the shitty opinion. So I respect your perspective, N. But with this specific instance, we being able to slow it down and then also see the tactics behind it, watching Verge, peel that guard, boom, accuracy. And I'll show you one more. I'll show you one more time, one more thing. I'm going to try to pause it on the proper spot. Pay attention to Vergil here. He's already done. He's already done. Great stoppage by the referee. Like, look at Vergil's face. Vergil ain't acting. Vergil Ortiz, great punch placement. Great. Yeah, Vergil ain't about that acting life. That dude, if you were to screenshot it, you know what? I'm going to bring up, and part of me for getting the history wrong on this. I don't know if they were, I think they were Aztec. Do you guys remember? They were like Aztec warrior masks. I'm talking like that you would wear in battle. Vergil Ortiz embodies that. Like, you could remove, from this slowdown frame, you could remove Erickson Lubin from the frame. You could remove the boxing gloves, obviously remove my big ass head, and just, blow up. And just focus on Vergil. That man, he could easily be in like the 15th century about to attack like a neighboring army or a neighboring village. Vergil Ortiz here is in war. You know what I mean? Like, this dude, there's no acting on his end, at least. Look, like, the eyes don't lie, Jack. It accurate that oh, that's the one I was looking for. Vergil Ortiz is in a life and death battle right here. Vergil Ortiz is trying to conquer a village. Ortiz is trying to pillage a village. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you see dives, you could kind of tell because it takes two to tango. There has to be an agreement beforehand. There ain't no agreement. Vergil out here trying to decapitate someone out here. Click the link in the Discord. All right, so Mike, I'm going to show you real quick. Mike, go to our Discord. Don't call me on the Discord, though. Just click that link. Mike, go to the Discord. Click that link. All you have to do is click the link to call in. Don't go into messages. Don't try to call me from the Discord. Click the link that I put in the Discord, and on your phone, you'll be connected to the screen. I set it up for you, baby. I make it easy for you boys. Bro, the interviews after smiling shit. Yeah, I mean, he's probably concussed, though. You know, he's concussed, happy he's alive, made money. You have to find that the guys. The thing about, and I'm not trying to speak. I'm not trying to stand on a soapbox here. From a psychological perspective, guys, we're dealing with fighters who are used to adversity, especially Lubin. He's lost before. He's been stopped before. So in the moment, I didn't see these interviews you're talking about. I assume, it was him, like you said, after. His mental framework, the only way he continues to fight, the only way he's been able to pick himself up off of bad losses before is to be able to move past the negativity and focus on the positive. So if you're saying, if you're using him smiling afterwards as a way of judging him that he really wasn't in it to win, I think you would be, misplaced. So when you see fighters do that, this is more of an attribute of trying to focus. It's called, in psychology, it's called having an anchor. Trying to focus on a positive, painting a smile and pretending. Eric was crying inside. Eric was destroyed. Eric, he has a world champion mindset. I've been around boxing way too long, my whole life, to then look at a guy like Eric Lubin. I would be shocked. Like, who knows? Tomorrow we wake up and, there were phones that were tapped and all these interviews are released to the world, and you hear these audio recordings of Eric being paid millions of dollars to throw the fight and get knocked out unconscious. Then I would be dumbfounded, but I don't think that's this. So Boots was laughing at that instantly when the camera cut to him. So you guys, I think sometimes maybe give fighters too much credit. It's not hard to see that a lot of these guys don't have media training. Now, boxing, because it's not an organized one league such as the NFL or the NBA, I'll use those two as an example. When you have a new millionaire athlete in the NBA or NFL, when you have a young kid, a young athlete who signs a contract, he then signs his last name as a representative of the billion-dollar franchise, whether it's the Browns, the Jaguars, pick your favorite team. They are then, the organization takes that millionaire athlete, that new kid, and gives them hours upon hours of public speaking, media training, how to handle social media, how to handle reporters. Boxing doesn't have that. So to look at fighters and then try to psychoanalyze their demeanor or their behavior or their nonverbal communication in a moment such as that, a lot of it has to come, just comes down to their initial reaction. What do they say what do they say people do when they're nervous? They laugh. Yeah, I did a whole video on him getting bit by the dog. Joker. I mean, that's what it seemed to me, Alan. Alan, I read a lot. So, a book I always tell you boys, especially if you're, depending on where you are in your life, in your intellectual journey, whether it's education, personal development. I think as young men, personal development is very important. It's what I went to graduate school for, leadership and personal development with a communication focus. And so reading a book like The Book of Five Rings by Musashi, the narrative of that, it's written by, a samurai in the 16th century named Musashi. I don't know if you're not familiar with the story, look it up. It's a great book, and it's about conquering. But it's the only way to conquer a village, you have to conquer your mind first. But you got to conquer that mind. Let's go. A lot to learn. We're all learning, brother. It's a journey. It is a journey. Don't get me wrong. Some fights really are real. You can tell by damage on their faces. I find isn't it wild that probably because the way the fight ended, I really don't remember Vergil getting touched that much, but it just shows you how much scar tissue Vergil has. Because he was, as soon as the fight starts, Vergil gets swollen. You know what I mean? He kind of the Diaz brothers were kind of like that, Nick and Nate, because they had sparred so much. It was kind of like an ongoing joke. The minute the fight would start, Nate Diaz would always be cut. He would be cut as soon as the bell rings. It's similar to Verge. His here. You'd see him in a clean fight, not even get hit, and afterward be real swollen up. No, the NBA is real. The NBA stuff goes way back though with the ref. What was his name? The New York guy. They did a whole. I remember watching that in real time. Look, I'm not saying there isn't fuckery in boxing. We know that. Early stoppages, knockdown. Dude, the last thing, guys, don't ever bet heavy on knockdown prop bets. Knockdown prop bets, I feel, are there in our book just to get screwed on because Lubin, what if somebody took a knockdown prop? Eric to be dropped. And then you know that in the book, if you get stopped on your feet, that doesn't count. I'd rather them change that or at least give us an option to bet on that. Will there be a knockdown or will said fighter be stopped on, a standing count? Will said fighter be stopped on the ropes? For that fight to get stopped like that, Erickson Lubin gets stopped, but the prop bet will Erickson Lubin get knocked down, you lose. There's a lot of room for fuckery there between like who's reffing, so I agree, man. Do you think a fighter has never been paid? Oh, no. I'm not saying no. I'm not. Could you imagine? I guarantee if I said this is one of those questions that you got. This is why the chat's educated. This is why we're all learning. But guys, moving forward, if you guys follow other content creators in any other space, whatever you guys are into other than boxing, a question like this is very important because as N says, do you think a fighter has never been paid to lose a much more profit promotable fighter? What if I would have sat here and said, what are you talking about? You think fighters get paid to lose? What do you mean? Like that's me believing in Santa Claus. Like that would be like me, like, dude, the tooth fairy is real, motherfucker. Shit. I get you guys hanging around. So my girl has my girlfriend. My girl got a girlfriend, Chrissy. She has a little nephew. And he's about 8 now. But when Christian was like 4 or 5, I would say, I would kind of like mess with him. I'm like the cool uncle. And the way he would react in certain situations, if I would challenge him on like, at the time he was like his favorite thing in the world was like a YouTuber. And the YouTuber was a puppet and he thought that the puppet was real. And like, if I were to even challenge the reality of his puppet, he would just collapse and it would turn into World War III. What if this question is akin to that? Hell nah, we know, dude, it's fucking crazy. This is the age-old trope. This is the scene in Pulp Fiction. This is Bruce Willis taking the dive with he jumps out of the arena and jumps into the cab with Viva Los, what was her name? Maria Villa de Lobos. That was the cab driver's name. The only reason I remember that, Villa de Lobos, Town of the Wolves, something along those lines. And the way Tarantino writes is later on in that story, you had Harvey Keitel's character, who's the cleaner, who they call the Wolf. There's all these little things about that, but Randall, my guy, what do you think about the tournament, bro? That was dope. I want to see more. Ozzy the Dog came through. I didn't get any Nobody told. I didn't know anything about the tournament. Um, I didn't have any option. I didn't. I'm only one man. I only had so much time to just focus on the Tiger card, focus on the Vergil card. I didn't have. It was one of those weeks for me where it was a short week too in terms of film study because Tuesday here last week was the Melbourne Cup, so I was out all day, wearing a bow tie and doing that sort of stuff. So I didn't put any energy into the tournament. I'll never bet on one punch props after I bet for Fulton to land more punches than Castro and Cash. Oh, makes you hurt a little bit. Guys, I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everyone in the chat right now. Boxing. Hold up. Is Gorilla called the first four? If Gorilla is in the Discord, that dude's a beast. If that's who you're talking about. We got some animals in the Discord. And Kyle, if you're in the Discord, you got to renew your membership, baby. You just told on yourself. You boys do know. Look at Kyle telling on himself. I see you don't got that blue star, but I see you're in the Discord. So I'm going to give you time to renew your membership. I don't have to put people on blast for being up in there without renewing their membership. Okay, Kyle. All right. You know. See, the way I handle this situation, as you can tell, a lot of people, I have dudes who follow me like, bro, man, you should be a little bit more. I was like, nah, this is an honor system. We out here, this is an honor system. So I'm not everyone, but I do have a list. I do have behind this. I know who's in there. There's a few of y'all out here, but I'm waiting for you boys to do the right thing. No, but Gorilla, to your point, Gorilla's an animal. Guys, the chat is educated, dude. I'm the facilitator. But yeah, we got an educated ass chat. Kyle, I know. See, I'm messing with you. See, Kyle, I was messing with you. KOW in Discord, you're my guy. But I felt like, no, Kyle ain't lying. I felt like that was a perfect opportunity, Kyle, to who knows who else is on this chat? You know what I'm saying? Who knows who else might see that and then be like, Kyle's a leader. That's leadership right there, player. I know that you're in there, bro. I have the list. I have a list. He wasn't lying. Who's Gorilla? Kyle, do you remember? I'll pull Gorilla up real quick. And I don't mean, I'm only doing this to give him props. Yeah, Gorilla Elite. I'm pretty sure that's who Kyle is talking about, right? So Mervin, who's Gorilla? Yeah, in the Discord, he's GorillaElite.live. And this is Gorilla and I. He also called. My man was spot on with Australia too. I got to give him his pub, man. This dude. Oh, he missed the. Hold up, player. He missed on Lubin. Anyway, nobody's 100%. Nobody's 100%. The chat's great. Gorilla's great. Cal's great. End's great. Mervin, get in there. The boy's a beast. Yeah, everybody brings a lot of value to the chat. Shout out to Gil. I don't know if Gil's my moderator. Gil, if you guys, if you're still on this chat an hour in, and if you're in the Discord, and you guys have any sort of like, if Kyle, if N, if Adu, if anybody sees like, say you're like, hey Johnny, we should add this thread, or this season's coming up, we should add this channel. Message Gil, Gil. He is our moderator in the Discord. He does an amazing job. He keeps everything organized. As you could tell, since we have Gil as the moderator, before Gil was just me, shit was chaos. None of that shit was organized. There were no separations. It was just boxing. So anyway, if there's anything that you feel that you could, we need to add, is there another sport coming up? I know baseball just ended and we kind of started the Discord in August, so the playoffs had already started. Spring trainings in April, so we will launch. We will launch obviously a baseball one, but also I've been watching a lot of F1. I know the F1 series is coming to an end right now. I put a little sneaky action on Max Verstappen. Max was a 29-1 to win the cup. Now he's a 3-1 with 2 races left. So it's something I never talk about is F1, but I watch F1. If there's sports like that that you guys fancy, or even like I forget who it is. It might be Parlay Dog, who's a big esports guy. I mean, guys, should we add an esports channel? I don't bet on it. I mean, that'd be like me betting on arm wrestling, but it's out there for you guys. V's still in the chat, Boss Marv, Adu, Kyle, and we're all good. I'll see you guys in the next one. I appreciate everybody still here. We got a lot to talk about. Ben Eubanks is coming up. There's so many fights this week. I appreciate the support. Let's continue.